Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
Damn slut. And your
Hey!
Lord of Pennies is here as well. Say hello, Satsu.
Did you just assume my financial status?
I did indeed. And I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. How are you guys tonight? Let's start with you, Scribe. How are you doing?
I am once again hermetically sealed in my apartment to keep the smoke out. Supposedly, it's going to lessen in the next 12 hours, but what that means is it's going to go from I guess whatever it is right now, like extremely unhealthy to just unhealthy.
Oh, that's a nice upgrade.
Yeah, so I go from immediate cancer to cancer next week. But yeah, so other than that, I had a very productive day. I went to work, came home, immediately saw something that pissed me off, and made a video. But we'll talk about that sooner or later.
We will get to that shortly. Satsu, how you doing, bud?
Well, today was a squishy day. It was the first day of her being on her vacation, and I got as much work done as I could before she woke up because I knew that when she got up, it was over with. And I spent the whole day Netflix and chilling with Squishy. But yeah, there was fuckery this morning, but we'll get to that later.
There's so much we got to get to tonight, guys. We've had a relatively few slow news days. But I got a lot of shit to say tonight because I'm annoyed myself. I got to see Little Bud again today. I was so happy. I had to go get fitted for a tux for my daughter's wedding.
Oh.
And my daughter and Little Butt came to my daughter to make sure I was getting the right stuff. And Little Butt helped pick out my tie that I'm gonna wear. She was so happy. But it was so cute. We were getting ready to leave, and she's being held by Grandma. And she says, "I want to go to your house."
Oh.
And Grandma says, "Oh, we can't tonight. I gotta work." She goes, "I want Grandpa."
Oh.
So she's passed to me, and she goes, "I want to get in Grandma's van."
Oh.
I was like, "Honey, we can't. We can't take you tonight. I'm so sorry." And then she did this little whimpering thing she does now when she can't come to our house or she has to leave. She doesn't actually cry. She just kind of whimpers, but it makes Grandpa feel better. But yeah, that was my day. Jim Jones. No, I've been starting it wrong lately.
Yeah.
Monkey Dick. Jim Jones. Movies, video games. Hit that like button, guys. Seriously, hitting the like button helps us out while we're live. It really does. Engagement is what YouTube looks at. Speaking of YouTube, they don't share our stuff. So if you guys would be so kind as to do that, we would really, really appreciate it. Anything else we want to talk to? All right, so I'm done for the night.
Anybody there is something I'd like to talk to. The moon. Grow a base.
Grow a base.
Anything else we need to talk about before we get into the news?
You guys have a stream after this stream.
We do indeed. We are playing 7 Days to Die tonight with anybody who wants to join us. Guys, it is starting to fill up. Last week, we had one slot left. So if you do want to play with us, you're going to want to get there early. All information is in the Discords. But yeah, that's all I have. Anyone else?
Waffles.
Waffles indeed. Scribbles, did we have news today?
Oh boy, do we. But it is kind of a potpourri day. So I'm going to leave that to our resident Vanna White, which is kind of ironic. Satsu. So Satsu, are you ready to play News Potpourri?
Indeed.
Here are your categories. Hawaii hurricane. Verizon, California. Let's see. Cohen's plea deal. I'm being very creative tonight. Kevin Spacey and Asia Argento.
You hooked me with the last one.
All right. Well, apparently she hooked someone as well. Photo of Asia Argento with 17-year-old actor in bed surfaces.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Wasn't he?
Didn't happen.
Well, wasn't he binded by law to not show that?
I don't know. I just got this story now. A photo appearing to show actress and Me Too movement leader Asia Argento lying down with young actor Jimmy Bennett has surfaced. The photo, published by TMZ, of course, shows Argento and Bennett posing for a selfie. Earlier this week, the New York Times reported it had received a photo from 2013 of the two lying in bed among documents sent to the newspaper through encrypted emails by an unidentified party. Bennett and Argento would at that time have been 17 and 37, respectively. In California, the age of consent is 18. The newspaper reported that, months after publicly accusing Harvey Weinstein of rape, Argento agreed to make payments to Bennett after he accused her of sexual assault. Argento denied the allegations in the newspaper in a statement first reported Tuesday by the Huffington Post, saying, quote, "I am deeply shocked and hurt by having read news that is absolutely false. I never had any sexual relationship with Bennett."
But before we continue, let me get this super chat since we're discussing things that are wrong, and this is going to fit right in. Toasted Network, thank you so much. My opinion on abortion is mixed. I mean, I like the idea of killing babies, but don't like the idea of giving women the chance to make a decision.
Wow.
That is rough.
Is that Shira Gorath's like second account or something?
I don't know, but it could be.
I bet you even Shieldgraph was like, whoa.
It's like, what the
fuck? That's dark, man.
I saw Phil DeFranco talk about this today, and I was surprised because she denies it all.
Yes.
She then says, dead dude, Bourdain, is the one who paid off this kid. But then she goes on to say it's not really a big deal because the age of consent in other countries is, 15 or 16.
What, that was her response to this coming out?
Yeah.
She did it.
You think?
If that was her response, yeah.
Like, no, it never happened. But if it did, it was legal in other countries. And by the way, the dead guy did it. This bitch is I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
But you sound really sorry.
I just can't believe that she has the fucking balls on this bitch. I mean, blaming the dead guy, the dead guy who many people think he might have had to play a part in, blaming him for paying off somebody you fucked. Really? How where is that an excuse? And two, what was he paying off?
Yeah.
Well, the excuse is he was because I guess he was threatening them or something like that, and he was desperate. They were just trying to help him out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, likely story.
She's out there banging kids, and now she's blaming the dead guy. That the balls on this bitch. I just can't believe it. I'm sorry. Keep going. If there's more to the story, I walked all over it, and I apologize.
There's not much more to the story. So we have the photo which shows them in bed. You can't see any, at least in this photo, you can't see anything explicit per se, but it does appear that they are in bed, at least very lowly clothed, let's say, because there's nothing that looks like they're wearing shirts or clothes or anything. And there's also another photo of them hugging or embracing each other that she had posted on her Facebook that they've also uncovered. So there's at least 3 photographs showing that they knew each other at least, and 1 photograph that is suggestive of something more than simply a platonic relationship. So that's the excitement of that.
Dead guy.
Your remaining categories: Hawaii hurricane, Verizon California, Cohen's plea deal, and Kevin Spacey.
Let's go Kevin Spacey. I got a feeling that one's going to be short.
Another Kevin Spacey sexual assault case is under review in Los Angeles. 4 months after the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office began reviewing a sexual assault case against actor Kevin Spacey, CNN has learned a second case is now under the office's review. DA spokesman Greg Reisling told CNN the new case was presented to the office on Tuesday by the LA County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office did not have any further information immediately available when reached by CNN. Representatives and a lawyer for Spacey did not return CNN's request for a comment. Imagine that. The first case, which Riesling said remains under review, stems from quote-unquote events that reportedly took place in October 1992 in West Hollywood, California, and involved a male adult, according to a statement released by the LASD in April. I believe that is referring to the actor that came forward originally. Let's see. Oh yeah, Anthony Rapp. That was it, Anthony Rapp. Yeah, so that's all the information. Then they do a review of the Spacey saga to this point, but the actual new case or whatever it is has not been detailed.
All right, so Kevin may have assaulted someone else.
Yes, and just like that tweeter that I talked about yesterday said, obviously we're all hypocrites. Mm-hmm. We're all liars, so let's just keep that in mind as we wait for more information on what Kevin Spacey might have done.
I finally got to see the tweet that you were responding to with that.
Yeah.
And that bitch, it was actually linking to an article that says this just shows that women are human.
I know. It's like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Are you out of your fucking mind? That's not the point.
So tell me then, does this just show that Harvey Weinstein is human? That Kevin Spacey is human? Yeah, that's what it is. Abusing people, taking advantage of them, assaulting them, groping them, raping them, perhaps. That just shows that you're human.
You're just human after all.
Human, of flesh and blood, a man. I am just a man.
Oh, wow, what happened?
Little monkey snuck to my open door and yelled, "Boo!"
Scared the shit out of you, didn't she?
I thought she was laughing at my singing. Thank God my ego's still intact.
That was funny.
Let me explain to you, when I get scared and jump like that, it fucking hurts, you crazy woman. Oh, God.
Well, don't be a pussy and be scared of everything.
Wow.
Scare your ass back to health.
Go away.
I'm going to leave this open for my next opportunity.
Oh, God. She's going to do this to me all night. Okay. What's our next story?
Well, it's up to Satsu. We have a Hawaii hurricane, Verizon California, and Michael Cohen's plea deal.
Let's go. Verizon California.
So this is interesting. As California firefighters battled the state's largest wildfire, Verizon throttled their data.
I saw that. I didn't get to read the actual story, but what the fuck?
Well, okay. This is what I don't get about this story, and I know you're about to get into it, but when I first heard about it, I'm like, how did Verizon literally say, okay, let's go through the list, find the firefighters, and throttle specifically their service? Because as far as I know, their network, whenever it throttles or goes back, it happens to everyone, right? Or do they mean like they throttle once they hit the data cap?
Well, I think, I would imagine if they choose to regulate or mediate service, they can do it by region or something. But I don't know. Let's find out. A Northern California fire department says Verizon slowed its wireless data speeds to a crawl last month, rendering some of its high-tech tracking equipment almost useless as firefighters battled the largest wildfire in state history. In an August 20th court filing, Santa Clara County Fire Chief Anthony Bowden said his department relies on internet services to keep track of fast-moving fires and coordinate resources and efforts among emergency personnel. Quote, the internet has become an essential tool in providing fire and emergency response, particularly for events like large fires, which require the rapid deployment and organization of thousands of personnel and hundreds of fuel engines, aircraft, and bulldozers, Bowden wrote. This requires a lot of data. Bowden wrote that his department's OES 5262 mobile communication center sent and received 5 to 10 gigabytes of data through a wireless router each day while tracking the response to the Mendocino complex fire. That fire has burned 406,532 acres in Northern California. The department had an unlimited government plan with Verizon, but the company would slow or throttle data speed once the agency crossed a certain threshold, Bowden wrote. Quote, in the midst of our response to the Mendocino complex fire, County Fire discovered the data connection for OES 5262 was being throttled by Verizon, and data rates had been reduced to 1 out of 200 or less than the previous speeds. 1/200th is what they meant, or less. I don't know if that was a technical term. These reduced speeds severely interfered with the OES 5262's ability to function effectively. Santa Clara County Fire Captain Bill Murphy told CNN that the department's connection speed dropped to what you would expect from a dial-up service, making simple tasks like sending an email or updating a Google document almost impossible.
Jesus.
I got a rant about this after.
Okay. The document included an email chain that showed that the fire department had been working with Verizon to solve the throttling problem before the Mendocino fires started, and that Verizon did not lift the data caps until the fire department paid for a more expensive plan. In a statement to CNN, Verizon spokeswoman Heidi Flatto said the company made a mistake. Quote, regardless of the plan emergency responders choose, we have a practice to remove data speed restrictions when contacted in emergency situations, she said in an email. We have done that many times, including for emergency personnel responding to these tragic fires. In this situation, we should have lifted the speed restriction when our customer reached out to us. Why didn't you, if this is common practice?
Somebody fucked up.
Yeah,
Somebody fucked up.
And if this happened over the course of a month's time, that seems like a little bit more than just a simple mistake. But she said Verizon is reviewing the situation and, quote, will fix any issues going forward.
I'm sure they will.
Bowden said that his firefighters had to use other agencies' internet connections or their own personal devices to keep their communication system running. Bowden's statement is included in an addendum to a brief in a federal lawsuit to overturn the Federal Communication Commission's repeal of net neutrality rules.
What?
Interesting. Well, there was a story yesterday or the day before where 23 attorneys generals across the country from various states and Washington, D.C. had composed a petition to a U.S. appeals court to restore net neutrality nationwide. It'll probably not do anything, but it was interesting. I'm just wondering why this statement. I mean, okay, well, I guess the question is then, is Verizon's ability to throttle this an artifact of the repeal of net neutrality?
It's that'd be a weird case to make, but I guess
that's the only thing I could think of where these two things relate to one another.
Yeah, I don't see how they relate to each other at all.
Well, let's see. The Verizon spokeswoman said this is a customer service issue. Quote, this situation has nothing to do with net neutrality or the current proceeding in court, she said. Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting way to put it. Sounds more like if it doesn't have anything to do with net neutrality, that seems like a play on emotion kind of addendum you put onto that thing. So anyway.
Well, one of the things that's pissed me off about this whole situation, because I was selling phones for quite some time. And they had all these plans, you pick a data plan, how much data you want or whatever. And now these companies have different versions of unlimited plans.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait a minute. How the fuck can you have different versions of an unlimited? Like you can get the unlimited this or the unlimited that. I'm like, if it's unlimited, it should be fucking unlimited. But basically what it is you have unlimited data until you get to a certain point and then they slow it down.
Right.
Which is no different than the way it used to be. The only difference is it would like be pretty much non-usable, but it's not like throttling you the way that they're throttling you right now, because that's what companies used to do beforehand. They would throttle you to the point to where it's not usable anymore once you went over your data cap, because a lot of companies didn't shut it off completely. So I'm just like, you're basically selling people the illusion of unlimited data and just forcing them to pay more money for a system that you're fucking throttling anyway, because you're not getting the internet speed you're supposed to get in the first place. So that's happening with cable companies too. I had just got an email from Cox, and they just said, you shut up. They said you went over your monthly data cap, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Monthly data cap? Since when did that shit start happening? It's frustrating as fuck, and I'm kind of glad I'm not selling phones anymore, because I would have to like explain to somebody how there are 4 different unlimited plans, none of which are actually unlimited.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't been sued for that shit yet.
Well, they are now by the fire department. So.
Well, yeah.
It's because they're not getting sued because of a technicality. Because technically, they're still giving you data. They're just throttling you when you use a certain bit. So they're not lying about you having unlimited access to data. They're just making it so slow.
I see the loophole there. And
Yeah.
clever, but if they offer, well, never mind.
Mhm.
I think eventually they're going to run afoul of consumer protections.
Well, the worst first example of them being caught doing this would be to harm firefighters trying to put out giant wildfires. So
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah, they're going to be walking on eggshells for a while after this one, hopefully. So we have remaining Hawaii hurricane and Michael Cohen's plea deal.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're still with the last story. She made it sound like people did the fire department actually reach out and try to get their
that's what we said. They called them and tried to work with them to try to get it undone, but they required them to buy a more expensive plan to get their unlimited access back.
Yeah.
Who was the asshole at the company who went, I know you guys are fighting a fire?
Well, no,
but capitalism.
I think I know what it was. Since I worked in a call center for that before, like I used to sell like data plans and stuff in the call center. What probably happened is they had somebody new who they had already yelled at and coached, like, no matter what, you follow this script and you do it exactly to the T. It doesn't matter. Don't change it up. Don't make exceptions. You need to do this exactly how we tell you to. No exceptions. And they did. Because I've had a couple people that happen to, and what'll happen is they'll do some shit that they would have probably had supposed to made an exception for, and they would still fire them for it, even though they followed the rules and did what they were supposed to do, because technically that's what they're supposed to do. But they're like, yeah, sorry, we can't make any exceptions. That's what they told me. I just started here and I want to keep this job. And they're like, yeah, you listened to us and you followed the rules, but you got us in trouble, so you're fired. I've actually seen that shit happen on numerous occasions.
Nice. All right, so Hawaii hurricane or Michael Cohen's plea deal, and you have super chats, Monkey.
Thank you. The only reason I have let me start over because I didn't read the name. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. The only reason I have TV, which I never watch, is because AT&T makes me have their shitty TV service with like 100 channels to have unlimited internet data. Otherwise, I'd be limited to 100 gigabytes a month. Yeah, the only reason I still have a house phone is because, never mind, AT&T sucks. Snubber, thank you. Furries ruin everything. We will get there. We will get there.
So what do you want, Satsu, hurricane or Michael Cohen?
Let's do hurricane.
Hurricane Lane, that is the name of the hurricane, not a name for like a path of a hurricane. Hurricane Lane is heading for Hawaii as a dangerous Category 4 storm. Hawaii Governor David Ige urged residents Wednesday to prepare weeks' worth of supplies ahead of Hurricane Lane, a Category 4 cyclone that could make landfall in the islands in the coming days. He said the government offices will be closed Thursday and Friday as the storm, packing heavy rains, approaches the state. Quote, just want to remind everyone to prepare to shelter in place 14 days of food and supplies and water, he said at a news conference. The storm's dangerous center could make landfall as it moves past the islands from Thursday through Saturday. But even if the eye does not cross land, it should draw close enough to the islands that it brings destructive winds and as many as 20 inches of rain on shore. People have been flocking to stores for supplies. What kind of winds are they talking about? The storm.
150.
Yeah, the storm was in the Pacific, about 285 miles south of the Big Island town of Kuala Kona early Wednesday, with a maximum sustained winds of 155 miles per hour.
Hey, I was close. I was going by memory. Hey.
Oh my God, you remembered something.
No shit.
Let's see. A hurricane watch has been issued for Oahu and Kauai. The watch indicates hurricane conditions are possible and that winds of at least 39 miles per hour are anticipated in the next 2 days. 39 miles. That's a big drop. So there you go.
Well, they're probably shooting the lowest possible, being 39. Not that that's all it's going to be, you know?
Yeah. So yeah. If you're in Hawaii or have family there, fingers crossed that it, if it's going to follow the path they're projecting as of now, Well, I can only hope that it goes a little bit more southward than what they're projecting, and it'll cause less damage. But all the best.
Yeah, I mean, just had all them fucking, all that, what's it called? Damage from the lava flows and stuff. That's what I was saying.
It doesn't look like it's going to hit the big island where the volcano is, but if the rains get there, maybe, at least briefly. And lastly, our favorite friend at CNN, Chris Cillizza, has an advisory for us.
Oh, does he now?
Trump's response to Michael Cohen's plea deal dissected. So we're going to analyze tweets, I assume, or the interview he gave. On Wednesday afternoon, Fox News released a snippet of its interview with President Donald Trump. Here's the exchange between Fox's Ainsley Earhart and Trump on whether he knew about payments arranged by his one-time lawyer Michael Cohen to women alleging affairs with Trump in the run-up to the 2016 election. Excuse me. Earhart, quote, "Did you know about the payments?" Unquote. Trump, quote, "Later on, I knew, later on. But you have to understand, Ainsley, what he did, and they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's the big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me. And I tweeted about it. You know, I put, I don't know if you know about it. Wait, I don't know if you know, but I tweeted about the payments, but they didn't come out of the campaign. In fact, my first question when I heard about it was, did they come out of the campaign? Because that could be a little dicey. And they didn't come out of the campaign. And that's the big. No, I'm sorry, and that's big. But they weren't, that's not a, I'm reading it as he spoke it. That's why it sounds so chopped up. But they weren't, that's not a, it's not even a campaign violation. If you look at President Obama, oh, come on. If you look at President Obama, he had a massive campaign violation, but he had a different attorney general and they viewed it a lot differently. Unquote. All right, so here's Cillizza's response. There's so much wrong here. Let's go through it point by point. Number one, Trump says he knew about the payments, $130,000 to porn star Stormy Daniels, $150,000 from American Media Incorporated to Playboy model Karen McDougal. Later on, that runs directly counter to what Trump said in April when asked about the Cohen payments to Daniels. Here's that exchange. I won't deny he lied. Trump lied, or at least told a half-truth. I don't know which, but he was talking to the press. He wasn't talking to a government official or nothing. So what are you going to do except say he's a liar? And we all kind of already knew that.
Yeah, lying to the press, not illegal.
Not that I'm endorsing the practice by any means, but
Sure.
At the same time, this was something we kind of already knew. Number two, Trump is trying to draw some sort of distinction between paying the hush money out of campaign funds and paying them out of his pocket. But either way, it's illegal. Assuming Trump used his personal money to repay Cohen, and remember both Trump and Cohen have insisted in the past that none of the money came from Trump, which is, of course, not true, then he was making an illegal loan to his campaign. You can't dole out tens of thousands of dollars for the express purpose of silencing people with damaging allegations right before voters vote and then never report it. And he's not wrong. Three, the comparison to Obama's fine by the FEC is a total and complete straw man. It is true that Obama's campaign was fined a hefty $375,000 by the FEC in 2013 for failure to file 48-hour contribution reports, donations made within the final weeks of the campaign, that totaled $1.3 million. The oversight was discovered in an audit of the Obama campaign. Compared that fine to what is alleged here. A candidate for president directed the end run of campaign finance laws in hopes of suppressing allegations made by women about romantic dalliances. He did so, according to Cohen, with the express purpose of influencing the election. That's not even in the same universe as a candidate's campaign being fined for not correctly reporting $1.3 million in donations from the final days of an election. And then we get to the point at the very end here in big bold letters. Trump, at some level deep down, knows that Cohen's plea deal, specifically as it relates to the hush money payoffs, is a big, big problem for him. But he also knows one tactic when backed into a corner. Fight like hell with whatever you can lay your hands on. That's what his response to Fox News amounts to. Unfortunately for Trump, none of these punches land. In fact, he whiffs badly on them all. I can't disagree with Cillizza. That Trump lied, Yes, that he violated campaign finance, whether it was his money or the campaign's money. Granted that I read the FEC guidance on it earlier today correctly. He's not wrong on that either. So, yep, Chris and I are on the same page, I suppose.
Okay, so was this? Are they still talking about before, or are they talking about during
What do you mean?
the campaign?
Well, during
This
the
would be
campaign.
during the campaign.
Yeah,
Okay.
this all
Okay.
happened in 2016.
The different. You're thinking of Manafort, who was the one that was all before.
Yes.
Sound like she
Stop
failed
that
this
woman.
time.
She scared me again.
Oh, did it work? It didn't sound
Yeah.
like you reacted.
Well, I was in the middle of trying to say something, so I got that out first.
Gotcha.
Hello?
Oh,
Everybody went quiet.
oh.
I thought you had more to say, so.
Well, yeah. I would need to go over. I haven't read the actual the campaign finance stuff on this. I would have to do that before I could comment intelligently on it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, so I just asked that question because I was curious. I hadn't really been keeping track, so
I am interested to see how. I don't know. This is what would be called an in-kind campaign contribution.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know enough about those to know if this qualifies. So,
Well, all these things happened like immediately before the campaign, so far as at least the Stormy Daniels payment happened just at the end of October, like literally within about a week and a half of the election. So that did occur during the campaign.
Yeah.
And if what Trump is saying today is correct, then he paid that money out of his pocket to suppress that information while he was campaigning to be president. So that incident alone falls under the violation of FEC guidelines and is illegal.
thank you, Three-Sided Coin. I could not give less of a shit about this story. It's not going to amount to anything anyway. Worst case, the campaign is going to have to, the Trump campaign is going to have to pay a fine for it. Trump's not going to jail over this. He's not going to get impeached over this. But it's got merit. I mean, there's a reason to cover the story. It's just how relevant it is to real life.
Well, I guess the bigger question is this came about, whether you like it or not, as a result of the Mueller investigation. Okay.
Sure.
Now, will the Mueller investigation prove collusion between Trump and Russia? I don't know. At this point, it seems like a long shot. But in the wake of that effort, if they find any more instances, Cohen aside, of Trump having or people around him having done on his behalf other shady shit, you could have a compounding effect if the Democrats take the House back in the midterm, and then they decide to try to leverage this into an impeachment. Now, this is all long shot stuff. I don't know that it's going to happen, and I'm not a political expert, but it depends on how many more dominoes fall between now and, say, this time next year, thereabouts, as to if something's going to come of it beyond simply one more scandal in Trump's repertoire.
Well, you also have to remember, even if they win back the House, which at this point is starting to look shaky, they're not going to take the Senate.
Yeah,
they're not going to take the House and the Senate, which they can impeach all they want without a judgment by the Senate. He won't be removed. So
short of them discovering Trump did something so blatantly egregious that nobody can deny it, and no Republican will want to sign their name to him after that. Yeah, it's not going to amount to much of anything in the end, except one more scandal.
Yeah, the worst case scenario, they're going to have to pay a fine for this. Yeah. And in that case, Trump bringing up Obama's fine is relevant because that's all that ever happens for campaign violations. That's all that ever fucking happens is they get a slap on the hand and a fine.
Right.
As far as this situation goes, I to be honest, I don't care what's gonna happen. I just I find it interesting because we're living in this time while it's happening. But I didn't vote for Trump. I mean, I don't care.
I don't have a dog in the race politically about it. I find it interesting because I don't care if Trump ends up getting impeached or not.
Yeah,
Really, I mean, if he did something that rises to that level, then okay. If he does something that doesn't rise to that level, but he is impeached anyway, well, then we got Clinton too, and it's a bunch of bullshit again. So as a non-involved spectator, the whole thing is interesting to me, even if it does get a little boring at times. But that's why I don't really talk about Trump that much anymore, unless something actually happens. And the last 48 hours, a lot happened, so it's worthwhile in that regard.
Yeah, I don't think it matters who we get in office. It's just like, for me, my general opinion about the government and just the way all this shit works is you're always getting fucked. The position just changes based on who's in office. Like, it's basically it.
Yeah. Anyway, those are all the stories that I had loaded up.
All righty. Satsu, did you have any stories?
None other than the cyberpunk thing.
Yeah, well, that's internet fucketry time, I think.
Yeah, we'll do that with fucketry. Just like this title of the stream part, we'll do a fucketry. But until then, guys, if there's a story you'd like us to cover on the show, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News over on the Twitter machine. We can't get to all your stories, but that's just because the Russians won't let us.
That's right. No, Verizon throttled us. That's why.
Yeah,
Verizon throttled us because of the Russians.
Well, let's see. This one comes from Frosted Glass and involves one of our other favorite friends, David Hogg. Some of David Hogg's supporters say his calling Nancy Pelosi old went too far.
Wait, what happened? I'm sorry.
Quote, older Democrats just won't move the fuck off the plate and let us take control. Nancy Pelosi is old, the Parkland shooting survivor and March for Our Lives leader said.
He went after Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
You dumb motherfucker.
Nancy Pelosi is too far to the right for David Hogg.
Jesus Christ.
Parkland shooting survivor and March for Our Lives leader David Hogg is facing criticism from his supporters for calling House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi old in a New York Magazine profile of him published on Sunday. A spokesperson for Pelosi told BuzzFeed News on Wednesday that the House representative had no comment about Hogg's remarks. That's probably the best place for her to be. In the wide-ranging New York Magazine piece, it covered everything from his political ambitions to his meditation habits. The much adored and maligned anti-gun violence activist said, quote, the reason Republicans are successful right now is because they're empowering young people, unquote. They are?
That's been his push from the beginning. Remember, young people are the reason that we're doing this. By the way, let me call up my adults so they can finish authorizing all the shit that we're doing right now. But young people are in control, and we're going to take over. And
let me get my mom to drive me to the rally.
Right.
Well,
thank you, Mr. Adam. You guys are a pretty rad show. I agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A pretty rad show. What is this, the 80s?
Wait, hold on. Is he saying we're radiated?
Or he's talking about the German word for bicycle, which is Rad.
Is it?
Yeah, this is a pretty bicycle show. I don't know if that's like some lingo that the kids are using these days.
I thought I was only going to get useless information from Squishy, but I guess I got to deal with it.
Oh, no, my friend. My head is full of useless bullshit.
Weibo says meditation habits sounds pretentious. Yeah, it does.
My meditation habits. Yeah, I jerk off in the dark.
He is a pretentious douchebag.
Let's see. The comments come as the fractured Democratic Party is being pulled hard to the left and is facing increased calls for new and implicitly younger leadership, especially after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez defeated one of the top members of party leadership in the House this summer. At the same time, March for Our Lives has been on a national blitz to register people to vote and is seeing its most visible members outright supporting, but not formally endorsing, candidates for office. Well, gosh, I can imagine so many candidates for office really want David Hogg's endorsement. I wonder what efforts they're going to court the Hogg boost.
Thank you, Freak Coin. Well, it was rad. Thanks for proving otherwise, Scribe.
That's right. That's what I'm here for. I am a killjoy.
Do people understand that what Cortez did there actually hurt the Democratic Party?
Nope. Not the people who are the true believers.
Because here's the thing, guys. The way Congress works is based on seniority, and you had I don't care that he lost. I really don't. But people who are celebrating it as, oh, look what we did. Yeah, you weakened yourselves because now if she wins, she's going to be a junior member of the House. She's not going to get on any committee that's worth a fuck. You took down the number 4 member of the House, so you can what?
Yeah,
she'll be laughing stock. So
she'll be on the lowest rung of the ladder. At most, for the sake of PR, they might give her some kind of symbolic position on something. You know, a junior senator on the Environmental Safety Commission or something like that. But she's not going to be able to do much of anything except the basics.
Yeah, she is. I wish her, if she wins, I wish her luck because she's going to be one of our leaders, like it or not, guys. But yeah, this isn't a win for the Democrats, her being there. It really isn't.
Let's see. This one comes from senior staff reporter Jack the motherfucking Cockring. Steven Crowder confronts Antifa activist, and the Washington Times wants me to pay to watch this or read this. No, I don't want to. Okay, thank you. I hate it when they do that. It's like, dude, just get through it. If I can't get your story on your site, I'll go somewhere else that doesn't try to charge me something or put an ad in my face. Steven Crowder confronts Antifa activist who wanted a piece of him, and his response, "Your wish is my command." An Antifa activist known as Slytherin recently got more than he bargained for when his violent fantasy to meet CRTV's Steven Crowder came true. Beer went flying through the air, and a police report was filed in Dallas after the Louder with Crowder host tracked down the man whose online rhetoric includes punching Nazis and the desire to kill, quote, every member of ICE. Mr. Crowder and his crew originally planned to confront the man during a planned protest against white supremacy. The event was scrapped due to weather, but he was able to anonymously set up a meeting at a local beer garden. "Your wish is my command," the comedian, dressed as a genie, said during the confrontation published Tuesday. Here's a quote. "Shit, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit," the man said while throwing his beer in Mr. Crowder's face. Mr. Crowder then asked what specifically the Antifa activist meant when he wrote online, "Holy shit, I've wanted a..." read more, oh, for God's sake, just let me read the story. "Holy shit, I've wanted a piece of Crowder for a long time." Other social media posts included a $500 offer to kill members of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Oh, it's this guy. Okay. Quote, take down the threats, the conservative pundit said. Take down the offers to pay people for killing other people, and that will be it. But if not, we're going to file this with the police, okay? Good, the activist replied while scurrying off. Quote, "I'm sure they're going to be thrilled to see killing pigs $500 a head for ICE. Come on, man. Here's your chance. Everyone's going to see this. Future people hiring you, members of ICE, police officers," Crowder countered. The host then provided viewers with evidence of a local police report and gave the case number. And the episode on YouTube has racked over 380,000 views in less than 24 hours. So there you go.
Oh, boy.
Looking at that guy, I mean, I'd have just beat his ass right there. I'm crippled. I could take him.
Let's see. This one comes from Griffin and sounds particularly scary. Flesh-eating STD is allegedly making the rounds. A rare sexually transmitted disease that causes flesh-eating ulcers on patients' genitalia has popped up in England. Irate Bear, look out. An unnamed female patient who lives in Southport and is between the ages of 15 and 25 reportedly was diagnosed with donovenosis within the last 12 months. Donovenosis, which is spread through sexual intercourse with an infected patient or by coming into contact with a patient's infected ulcer, is typically seen in India, New Guinea, parts of the Caribbean, Central Australia, and Southern Africa. I'm getting a lot of feedback from, I assume, Satsu.
What is it?
It's a lot of background
noise. It just sounds like fuzz.
Oh, I don't know what to do about that.
Your new mic is on the way, yes?
Yeah, it'll be here in 2 days.
Okay. Now it's a little bit less. I think the gain adjusted itself. Yeah. So be careful who you stick your dick into, and vice versa, over in England or elsewhere. So that's always
Now,
true.
Is this better or worse than super gonorrhea?
If it's flesh eating on your genitals,
Well, isn't
super gonorrhea will kill you, right?
I can't remember.
Well, all I know is I think I'd rather die than watch my penis be eaten away by ulcers.
What if you got both at the same time?
Well, then suicide's a good option.
Die as you watch your dick rot away.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Oh, the new leprosy. Let's see. This one comes from the
time out. I have to address this moron in chat. John Gate, whatever the fuck your name is, you have me mixed up with someone else, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, he is tripping, dude.
I don't know who you think I am, but that never happened, you stupid fucking retard.
He said, remember you had a stream to talk about Medicare and you showed a folder on your desktop called Jim's Docs and flaunted it around like you had a loaded pistol. This dude thinks that Monkey was like working for Sargon trying to dox fucking Mr. Medicare.
He's not me, you dumb shit.
What are you talking about?
I don't know who you confuse me with, you stupid shithead. But that's not me.
Holy shit, Monkey. Okay, look. If you have a second life that you have not been telling us about, now's the time to come clean.
I ain't got time for a second life.
Everybody already knows who Jim is. It's Sam Hyde.
Indeed.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Make people think he's not Sam Hyde because he's Sam Hyde.
If you're gonna be mad at me, dude, be mad at me for shit I actually did.
He's done plenty of things for you to be.
Search it in the YouTube bar. Oh, okay, fine. Well, Ranting Monkey Jim's Docs. Is that what I have to look up? Ranting Monkey Jim's Docs.
Wait.
Okay.
Random Americans said he thinks Monkey actually has the skills to do that.
I don't see. There's the other channel where there's someone else on YouTube that uses the moniker Ranting Monkey.
Sure.
Is it that little group of Asian kids?
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes up when I put in Ranting Monkey Jim's Docs, and nothing. The first thing that comes up that has anything to do with Monkey is his angry MGTOW video from a year ago.
He said, "Type in Ranting Monkey tries to dox Medicare."
Ranting Monkey. Okay. All right. Tries to dox Medicare. And the first thing I see is Tonka Saw flings shit at Ranting Monkey. Tonka Saw makes a fool of Ranting Monkey. These are both from 6 months ago. And that's the only thing that directly references Ranting Monkey. And I got a 15-minute video and a 5-minute video. I'm not going to be able to watch these things right now, unless Monkey was. You were on a stream with Tonka at one point. You were on Bloodsports one time, weren't you?
Yeah, that's not online anymore. That one was taken down. What you see there is from when I was on Irate Bear stream, and Sinatra was butthurt because I was saying that Bloodsports is for fags. Oh yeah. And Tonka, who didn't want to talk to me, just really had to.
John Galt just confessed, I confused Ranting Monkey with Short Fat Otaku. How the fuck could you do that?
There you go, you stupid fucktard. Now go away. Sit in the corner, you dumb motherfucker.
How do you confuse this man? Okay, anyway, moving on back to the real stuff. Now that mystery's been solved. Thanks, gang.
Dude, I am floored.
Hey, at least he admitted it. At least he admitted his mistake.
It's true.
I appreciate you admitting your mistake, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God.
Well, you would think that, gang, except Ranting Monkey is really the amusement park owner Otaku.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Moving on. This one comes from...
Just stop it.
Yeah. All right. It's dropped, it's done. This one comes from the Reaper. Is this true? This is foxnews-us.com. Is that a real site?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, because I will read this story, but the fact that it's hold on, because before I read this, Fox News US. No, not Fox News /US, Fox News US.com. Is that actually Fox News? Well, they're telling me it is. Okay, I will read this, but I'm dubious because I've never seen Fox News's URL formed that way. Bloomington police discover over 200 penises during raid at funeral employee's home.
No. That can't be true. Please don't let that be true.
And the mugshot and the topic of the story makes me very suspicious.
No, please don't collect dead dicks.
Okay, I will read the first paragraph just for the sake of completion, but this looks suspect to me. Police made an astonishing discovery this morning while executing a search warrant at the residence of a Bloomington mortician. Bloomington, where? Okay, 218 embalmed human penises. Authorities suspected 54-year-old Paul Houston, an employee of the McLean County Coroner's Office, of being implicated in an organ trafficking network. Investigating several reports of missing organs and body parts, dozens of police raided his residence this Monday morning, and hoping to find evidence of his involvement in the crimes. What they found on the site was a lot more disturbing than what they expected, as police spokesman Andy Ramirez described the scene in an interview with WMBD. There were shelves everywhere filled with hundreds of glass jars. Each of them contained a penis floating in formalin. Formalin? Okay, I'm not sure if this is true or not. This seems a bit comic booky supervillain stupid, but there you go. I read the story.
Let's go into MSS News because I want to rant.
We are in MSS News.
I said call an end to it.
Oh, call an end to it. I thought call an end to it. Okay, all right.
Oh no, and
it's your show.
That's gonna wrap up MSS News tonight, guys. Thank you so much for the submissions, and sorry for the little distraction there that took probably one story worth of time out of it. So we'll do that again another night. Tonight we are going to move on to YouTube time. I didn't do shit. Satsu, what'd you do?
I uploaded a video on my second channel. It was it was about they released some more information for the remake of Resident Evil 2. So if you've been looking at that like I have, go check it out because there's some pretty cool screenshots, and they also released some more information. Other than that, Far Cry videos, didn't do anything on the main channel.
Sorry, Jack Cochran said he can't stay, but breaking Florida man news. And I clicked on his link. Florida man hauls in 1,000-pound gator on Lake Okeechobee. Okeechobee. All right. I don't know why. Are they hunting?
Is a 1,000-pound gator a rarity? I don't know much about those animals.
Apparently, it's a 12-foot gator. I don't know. It's a big ass gator that somebody caught.
They said how many pounds?
1,000 pounds. Half a ton.
That is fucking huge.
That is a big ass gator. I'm
huge.
Assuming.
It's huge.
It's huge. Now I don't know how I want to do this, Scribe, because I want to talk about your video.
Well, let's just make my talking about YouTube your rant, and then I'll join in.
Here's what we're gonna do, because this is going to be you're gonna talk about your video, then I'm gonna jump in and if there's any time left, we'll throw in some fucketry at the end because I got some shit to say.
Okay.
Scribbles, what did you do?
Well, after I got home from work, one of the first things I saw when I logged onto my computer was a little video that Monkey had retweeted of Senator Elizabeth Warren being interviewed on CNN by John Berman on the New Day program. And it was the video I saw was the last minute or so of the total segment, wherein John Berman asked Senator Warren about the murder of Molly Tippett by the illegal immigrant or illegal alien, and asked her, President Trump and Vice President Pence have said in response to this event, and I'm paraphrasing here, that this is just one more example of why we need harsher, stronger immigration reform and protection. What is your response to that? He asked. I'm going to stop there because Monkey and I are of a similar mind on this, and he is far more chomping at the bit to talk about this since I've already done a video on it, so you can find out everything I think about it by watching my video. And please, like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely. And I linked that on Twitter as well. So if you're not following Scribe on YouTube, you should be. You can also find the link on my Twitter and follow him from there. Thank you.
Hey.
Her answer. I don't know how much more clueless you can be. Because her answer, she almost immediately starts out by saying, I think we need to focus on the important aspects of immigration.
Yeah. Real problems, she says. The
real problems. Yeah. That was her term. We're talking about a dead woman. And she changes the subject. She goes from Miss Warren, there's this immigrant, this illegal immigrant who killed a woman. People say
not even a woman. She's like 15.
Well, she was a college student.
Oh, was she a college student? I thought she was.
Yeah.
Oh, my mistake. I thought she was like a teenager. My bad.
No, I think she's 19 or was 19. What say you about this? And she comes back with, I was down at the border and I saw families torn apart. And actually is that we need to focus on real problems. There's a very real dead woman here. Her family very really will not see her ever again because an illegal immigrant was in this country and decided to fucking kill her. Now, we have plenty of our own criminals in this country. If ever there was a time not to talk about fucking families being separated at the border who are coming here illegally, those are the people who got their families separated because they weren't following the fucking law to begin with. This is the time not to do it, Elizabeth. This is the time, you stupid bitch, to pay attention to what's really going on. This is the stuff Donald Trump was actually talking about. This is what got him elected. When he first mentioned they're sending their criminals here and everybody's like, oh, he thinks Mexicans are bad. No, he's talking about shit like this. Shit that keeps happening. Shit like Steinle. And how many times do we have to see a story about a fucking illegal immigrant murdering somebody before that actually becomes the thing? We always hear, oh, well, we only want to deport the ones who are actually violent. Huh? How come every time one of them's actually violent when we have the actual look, this is a fucking douchebag. We had that guy the other day. Oh, his wife had to go get her cesarean section without him because they arrested him. Because he's wanted for fucking murder. Every goddamn time they come up with some other excuse why we can't just fucking lock down the border. There's no reason not to, other than some people think it's going to get them elected. Some people think that's going to get them votes. And it really needs to stop. Because her fucking response was pitiful. Just pitiful.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Because, I mean, here we're talking about a person who lost their life. Like,
yes,
even the weight of the consequences aren't even comparable. Yeah, well, these people got temporarily separated from their families because they were breaking the law. But this person is dead. Yeah, well, that's not as important as people getting minorly inconvenienced because they were breaking the law.
Well, in Scribe's video, I'm so glad you did this, Scribe. He points this part out. What about her and her family? They are permanently separated. Yeah, they will never be together again. And for what? What did they do illegal to deserve that?
Well, the short answer is fuck them. That's
basically what she was saying. Fuck this dead girl. You know, there was some shit a few months back nobody cares about anymore. I need to make sure I talk about it.
Well, I you know what? I really wish that these game developers and large businesses and companies were as loyal and dedicated to their followers as these people are. Because that's essentially why she said it, is because she knows that, like, the people who I care about, who are going to vote for me, this is what they want to hear. I don't give a fuck about anybody else.
I was so hot when I saw that shit. That we need to focus on the real problems. Murder's not a real problem in Elizabeth Warren's world.
The one thing that I wish I had said in response to something she said on there, is that, we're supposed to be focusing on the people who are, doing bad, or the criminals or whatever. It's like, well, do we wait until someone who's not supposed to be here commits a crime before we consider them someone that shouldn't be here?
Yeah.
Is that all we have to do? Or we have to wait until we discover the fact that they're here running away from criminal behavior, like the guy in the and his pregnant wife, before we consider them someone that needs to be, or should we just follow the law? And the other thing that never gets brought up, and I know I'm kind of being superfluous to the fact that my video's out there, but this is the thing that always never seems to be brought up. The number of people, women, children, and men, who die trying to get here. Okay, die of thirst, of crime, or the people that they've trusted to get them across the border, just kind of leaving them in a box somewhere, or animal attacks near the border. I put up a screenshot and a link to a story from, I think it was The Guardian, talking about how at least the deaths that they know of that have occurred in people trying to get to the U.S.-Mexico border has gone up 17% in the last year or so alone, or at least as far as 2017 was concerned. The more that people like Elizabeth Warren try to defang the sense of consequence that there should be to someone trying to get here illegally, it's not a matter of punishing people. It's also a matter of trying not to get people killed or taken advantage of by criminals or by the elements in their efforts to get here. For God's sakes, come here legally. We have a process. Does it take time? Yes, but then most things in life worth doing have to be earned in the first place. So that's the part that always ticks me off. It's like it's not about punishing people trying to find a better life. It's also trying to prevent people from doing something stupid that's going to get them or their family members hurt or killed in the process. And the more sanctuary cities you have, the more people saying we need to abolish ICE, or we're just going to give people a free pass for coming here. It encourages people to risk their lives unnecessarily, and that part pisses me off more times than not.
With all of the stuff at the border, or the family separations at the border, there was a story that came out right as that was dying down about how they had found an illegal immigrant child just sitting on the side of a fucking road. Yeah. He'd just been dropped off there.
Yep. With his aunt's phone number on there or something. Some aunt of his that lives in the country, that's like a contact number or something, like a lost dog or something like that.
Thank you, Cryptic. No papers, you go home. Yeah, I agree with you. And I could not believe, I'm not a fan of Elizabeth Warren. I think she's an idiot. I have for a long time. But even for her, I was like, are you fucking listening to yourself right now? Do you realize how goddamn dumb you sound?
Well,
when the man asks you, what do you think about murder and how people say this means we need tougher immigration? Well, we need to concentrate on the real problems.
And not only, go ahead, Scribe.
I was going to say, I'm kind of, in general terms, at least prior to today on this particular topic, I'm kind of on the fence about Elizabeth Warren. I mean, I did appreciate a lot of the things she said during the Obama administration about trying to take bankers and banks to task for the bullshit they pulled. I didn't necessarily disagree with the spirit behind the Consumer Protection Agency, given how the banks and the financial institutions completely fucked us over the coals in 2008. So I was really surprised that she would be so politic about this and so just offhandedly callous to the situation. And the other thing was like she says, her first response to the question is, well, we need immigration reform that makes sense. And like, yeah, or more effective immigration reform. Like, you mean like preventing people like the killer from getting in the country? But then she moves on to like, but no, we have to stop separating families. Like, oh, come on. Anyway, I'm done.
Let me get this super chat, and then you can do that. Thank you, Cyber Antifa Asia. How do you say that? Asia. Asa Argento did nothing wrong because males like sex. According to the state of California, if she did that, she did something wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about what it is, like what it feels like to be the family, and to hear something like that,
Yeah.
you know, on the news. They're just like, hey, what do you think about their daughter who just lost their life to this problem that we clearly have that you refuse to acknowledge? And she's like, yeah, well, whatever. That's no big deal. People's families are getting separated, so you can lose a daughter. It's all right. It's just like,
Yeah.
and that's the fucked up part is they're just like, we will sacrifice people for our cause. We don't give a fuck. Like people can die. And as long as we're still moving towards what our goals are, we don't care. Fuck that. That's just the life. Our agendas are much more important than that shit.
Nothing for you here said something that I do want to address. He says illegal immigration hurts the illegal immigrants, and compassion would dictate that you don't allow them to put themselves or their families at risk like that. We have a real problem in this country with not understanding short-term versus long-term compassion. Short term is like, oh, well, just they need to get here. They need to get here, and we'll put them in sanctuary cities, and you know what? They can come here illegally and work for pennies on the dollar, and at least then they're in the United States. That's not actually compassionate. Compassionate would be going, look, this is how you do it. Maybe streamlining the process to help people get here easier or faster, at least. Maybe not easier, but streamline the process so it doesn't take what is it, like 10 years to become a citizen or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
That would be compassion. This nonsense of helping them hide in the country, that's not compassionate. It's just not.
Well, that's because it's not compassion. Basically, they do the same thing that the system has effectively been doing to disparage people from the beginning. Make them depend on you. Bring them in. Give them the lowest possible means to live, and make them depend on you. So that way, when it's time to vote, they don't have a choice. There's no issue. They can't not do it. Whenever it's time for you to get some people to rally together, they're gonna have to back you up because they ain't got no other means. You got people on the other side who don't want them here. You brought them over here. And you're giving them the most minimal way to live. That's why all these places keep getting raided. Because they got these factories and shit where they're hiring illegal immigrants and paying them nothing. And I'm just like, y'all don't care about these people. Y'all care about their usefulness, their bodies. Y'all want to use them for whatever it is you can. And, you know, it's a political tool. That's it.
Cyber Antifa, no age of consent for boys because they like sex. Women like sex too. I mean, you might need to read a book if they're not liking it with you, but believe me, they do.
No, I mean that's what the consensus is, or that's what people seem to be alluding to. Is like, yeah, well, boys like it, so it's cool. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
Girls like sex too, and there have been many cases where statutory rape. The girls, I had no problem with it, and we don't say it doesn't matter because she liked it. It's Cryptic. Thank you. I've waited 12 years now, but when I first started, the ETA was 5 years for a response. It gets longer every year. Yeah. See, now that is something when it comes to immigration reform, I can get behind. Whatever the fucking problem is that's slowing shit down, figure it out. Whatever it takes to figure that out, I'm happy with that. What we don't do is just go, well, since they're here, and just make them citizens. Because it's one, not fair to the people who are in line. Two, it encourages people to come here illegally. And three, I don't think you reward criminals.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I feel like the actual solution is to take all the people from the sanctuary cities, all the people who are here undocumented and trying to be documented, assign them to everybody who thinks that they should be here, make them live at their houses, and then tell them, here, you're going to temporarily take care of these people forever. So this is your responsibility. You think they need to be here? Here you go. You temporarily look after them. The only catch is they're never going to leave. Enjoy.
I think it's the system needs fixed. That I do agree with that. I don't necessarily think the laws need fixed because we keep here. We need immigration reform. We got to fix the laws. I don't think the laws necessarily need fixed. I think the system that's in place right now needs fixed because if the ETA was 5 years and it's now 12, something went bad.
Yeah.
Is it just me? Anyway. I don't have any more to rant on that subject. I just could not believe what that stupid cunt said. Oh, good night, sweetie. Thank you for not booing me again.
Mm-hmm.
I love you too. Somebody on Twitter mentioned that Elizabeth Warren has blocked them.
I didn't.
Yeah,
even,
I don't think she can legally do that.
I didn't even think to check. I doubt it because I didn't tag her in the video because I didn't want to like immediately get zapped or something. But stranger things have happened. Let's see.
If Elizabeth Warren blocks you on Twitter, guys, find a sympathetic lawyer and sue her ass.
Elizabeth Warren,
precedent.
I have not been blocked by Elizabeth Warren, but now that I've said that, maybe it'll happen because they're probably listening.
Okay. Fucketry. Do we have any other fucketry besides Senator Elizabeth Warren tonight? Let me see. I don't remember what else I saw today. Like I was pretty much out of the house after. I couldn't sleep last night. I didn't finally get to sleep until like 8 this morning.
So we woke up. Talk about or did we talk about the cyberpunk thing? And I missed.
We didn't. No, let's talk about that real quick.
Holy shit!
You want to fill the people in on what's going on with that and what happened and where we're at now?
All right. Well, the original tweet is gone and I can't find it. Not the apology, but the original tweet that they put up. But basically, they used the phrase, "Are you?"
Who's they? Just for the sake of clarity.
What studio is it again?
Who made Project Red?
CD Projekt Red, who made Cyberpunk? Is it 2077?
Yeah, and they made The Witcher and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they issued an apology for a statement that they made when they said, "Are you assuming my gender?" in a joke. And then some people got outraged. Some very poly headmate, they, them, their people got really, really offended by this. There was like 5 of them. So they issued an apology, and then all hell broke loose because now people are pissed that they issued an apology. The people who were mad are even more mad because they issued an apology. And now they've basically shitted on themselves and put themselves in a controversy for something they should have just ignored.
Now, I'm going to play the part that I played before the stream because, guys, I saw this on Twitter, but I didn't really understand what was going on. So I asked these guys before the stream. So their original tweet, the one that got deleted, nobody had been talking about anything trans, correct? Somebody said something to them?
No, the tweet they were responding to was something to the effect of, the trailer or the footage that you guys showed at E3 showed and I'm paraphrasing here, guys. It showed a cyberpunk world that was far too bright and colorful for what real cyberpunk was. It should be dark and gritty. And somewhere in there, they used a pronoun, I think, or something in the course of making their criticism. And then CD Projekt Red's response was, "Did you just assume our gender?" or something like that. And then everybody was, "Oh my God, that's so transphobic." And then they were like, "We're sorry we offended anyone. Or we're sorry if anyone was offended." And it's like, oh, so now it's our fault if we're offended? Like, well, technically, yes.
Oh, yes, it is.
Well,
indeed, it is your fault.
One of them was harming anyone, because the apology was sorry to all those who were offended by one of the responses sent out by our account earlier. Harming anyone was never our intention. Harming, guys.
Harming.
Because of a tweet. And one of the first ones up there is, "Harming anyone was never our intention." That's in quotes. Wow, that's a non-apology. Boy, I can't wait to see what sort of transphobic nonsense the actual game has in it that gamers will throw around as hilarious jokes. Now, that's just one of them. But there are lots of snowflakes in here. It is snowing in this feed. Thanks for the apology. Thanks for the apology. Try to be a bit more careful in the future. You can risk alienating a decent number of potential players.
You know what I like to do when I run into people like
this?
When I run into people like this who are complaining about how things are offensive and it hurts them, I tweet back at them that their tweet is hurtful and offensive to me.
Wow.
Because they can't prove it's not.
Yeah. Here we go. If you can't even avoid making a "did you just assume my gender" joke in 2018, I do not trust y'all with making the cyberpunk game at all. Learn basic human decency before attempting to tackle transhumanism.
Transhumanism.
Transhumanism. What the fuck is? Okay, never mind. I don't.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's not a thing. Anyhow,
Yeesh.
so they made a joke. Some trans people got upset. Didn't you also say somebody had said that nobody's ever made this joke?
Yeah, they said the whole "are you assuming my gender" thing is not a trans thing. It was made up by alt-right trolls. Trans people would never and have never said anything like that before.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, we just made that up.
Members of our audience, I know it's one or two of you in here that would qualify as being experts on the subject. Have you ever made that joke? I'm curious.
I've made that joke.
It's so funny because the people who we've actually seen say it, it wasn't a joke. They were dead serious when they were saying it. And it turned into a joke because people thought it was hilarious. But, you know, trans people have never said or done anything like that. We just made it up.
John Smith says, "Monkey, you need your ducks." You have no idea. Between the last couple of days, there's been a lot of stupid we've talked about. We had the front hole, which is still one of my favorite things. Did you see the meme? Somebody put Trump there and it says, "And so then I grabbed her by the front hole."
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. And then the Elizabeth Warren thing, man. I could not believe how callous she was. That was like, you are a fucking senator of the United States, you bitch.
Yeah.
And then you have things like this with the people getting pissed off because of a joke, and the one person, how can we trust them with a game? Because somebody made a fucking joke. You need to turn your head left and right. And
trust them with a game as though you have some kind of decision in the process or something.
Shit.
I mean, if you don't want to buy the game, don't buy the game. But I would trust them with a game. Like they paid to license Cyberpunk. They own the right to make whatever game they want. You don't have a say in whether or not to trust them with it. They paid for it.
Well, I was trying to find the one comment because some person was saying, like, you know, considering Cyberpunk, deals with people, going from transitioning, I guess. Well, the way they worded it is like transitioning to cybernetics and shit like that or whatever.
Yeah, the transhumanism thing. People who want to augment their bodies with technology, and I know I'm simplifying it for those of you that are more expert on it than I am, but that's kind of the gist. It doesn't have anything to do necessarily with gender per se. It has something to do with transcending the limitations of the human body with technology.
Right.
Yeah.
And what they were saying is like this is directly linked to trans people and their struggles and how they're, ostracized or not accepted in society. So you had a chance to make this game special for us and show us that you were different than all the other gamers or game developers, but you fucked it up.
They made a goddamn joke. Even if you don't think that joke is funny, they even acknowledge that it's a fucking joke in their comments. You use the joke. Well, yeah. Joke. Move on with your fucking life. Jesus. Oh God. Why are people so uptight now?
Well, I don't understand what they're teaching in business, like school now or whatever, because I need to find out what course.
I can tell you
that where offending 3 or 4 people, whenever you're offending 3 or 4 people on the internet, it is a great idea to turn that number into 3,000. Like that is the best thing you can do.
Here's what happens, and this is actually taught to people, and there are experts who will go around to companies and teach them social marketing. And one of the things that they teach is not to offend anyone. And if you do, immediately apologize for it. The problem with that is what you really should do, especially if it's shit like this, is laugh at them harder or
say nothing at all.
Together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the smart thing to do is just ignore it, just like pretend it didn't happen, because then it's a non-issue. It's only when, and really, like Protein World and some of these other companies that have gotten the message, it's like when you tell a joke and everyone who's a sane person knows it's a joke, you don't apologize for it. You just ignore the criticism and move along,
Yeah, and I don't know. And I understand it's getting harder for them to do that because
it's not.
Well, no. Like I'm saying, like the pressure is a lot higher now than it was before, because the actual games media, the journalism, like the journalists and stuff, they will literally write article after article about you not commenting on it to build up the pressure and make you speak out about it.
Well, until the next thing comes along, just ignore it until it goes away.
Yeah. Because if it's not a problem, they'll make it one.
But you can ignore it, and eventually it'll go away.
Yep.
They'll move on to the next thing, and it'll be no big deal. You'll have pissed off 3 people. Like you said, 3 people. Nobody else will give a shit. Before I read this super chat, I just want to remind everybody, Cryptic is Asian. Thank you, Cryptic. Transhuman would be great for Asians. With mods, it'll no longer be more than meets the eye for the penis, if you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, I just don't understand why companies do this. I understand the thinking behind it. It's very much the old kind of thinking, where if you got into a newspaper story, a major newspaper story back before the internet about something you did offensive, it could completely ruin your business because there was no counterculture to it. There was no pushback to it. You were suddenly in the limelight and you had to do something. Nowadays, you're just as likely to get as many fans for your inappropriate joke, which this wasn't even an inappropriate joke, for fuck's sake. But you're just as likely to get as many fans for the joke as people pissed off about the joke. Ignore the whiners and move on with your life.
I just don't understand the reaction. It's just like, oh my God, a small flame. Quick, get the gasoline. It's just like,
yeah.
Wow. Do the opposite of that. Like, don't do that. Please.
Well, what this tells me is that CD Projekt Red, in general, has had such overwhelming goodwill in the past from fans and people and everything else. This kind of shocked them, like, oh, I'm sorry, or what do we do? Or they had some really short-sighted PR person telling them what to do. But either way, because, like, you know, have any of their games never received just like critical and fan acclaim all over the place?
As far as I know, their games have all been massive successes.
Yeah, so I think this might just be sort of a bit of, I don't know, modern corporate naivete, where they've been living in a world of like nothing but praise and like we can do almost no wrong, and then suddenly somebody says, looks at them sideways, and it's like, oh God, I'm so sorry. They need to learn not to do that. I mean, every company needs to learn not to do that, to give into this stuff. I mean, people know when you've done something that's actually egregious and wrong. You know, if an employee does something like, oh, I don't know, restrict data access to a fire department during a forest fire, then maybe that's something you need to correct in your employees and in your policies and such. But otherwise, making a joke that harms nobody, yeah.
Well, this brings up something else, and I saw a Medicare talking about this. I didn't dig into it at all, so this is more basically a hypothetical at this point, but or at least from where I'm coming from. He was talking about how the SJW crowd is coming for anime. What do y'all think about that happening?
Well, I just saw a post. I was just scrolling on Twitter and saw a post that they said that Crunchyroll is about to roll out their line of Western original anime.
Yep.
Or whatever. And the first thing I saw was this. They had the character model, this girl with a fucking triggered haircut. And all the quotes were about how diverse this show is going to be, and it's about the diversity. And I'm super excited about that. That's the thing I'm most happy about, is how diverse this show is going to be. And I'm just like, yeah, well, that's going to die immediately. It's going to crash upon arrival, and they're going to blame everybody except for the person who made it. So we'll see how that goes.
Do you think that a movement like American social justice could actually take over like Japanese anime?
Oh, absolutely not. They don't give a fuck over there in Japan, because they're populated. Like, you think our shit, we have a problem with diversity? Like, go to Japan and watch TV for like 24 hours straight and tell me how many black people you see.
I don't know. They you remember what happened with like what was it, DOA? And they started the objectification of women. They stopped marketing their video game in the U.S. because of all the nonsense over here.
Yeah, but that's because they think we're stupid.
What I mean is that it may not affect the Japanese market or culture on it, but they may decide not to spend any money trying to sell the product here
Oh,
if they think that there's going to be some kind of controversy and pushback. So yeah, it might not affect the anime in the sense of like, oh, this is going to infect the whole thing and everything else. But if there's enough nonsense going on the other side of the water, it may affect what they decide to put money into investing into getting an American audience for. So just be careful. Just saying.
I didn't know that that's what he was. I was asking. I thought he was asking if it's going to affect anything.
No,
there.
I think you got him right. I'm just saying that there's precedent. I know you hate that word, monkey, but all the same, there's precedent for being concerned about social justice infecting a foreign market or a foreign product, let's say, and it affecting the American availability or distribution of that product.
Yeah,
you answered the question I was asking, Satsu. I hadn't thought about what Scribe had said, and that's an excellent point, actually.
Well, here's the thing: it's not going to catch on. Like if they do decide to do that, what the Japanese are going to do is they're going to say, if you don't like our shit, we'll just take it from you, and you can't view it at all. That's what they're going to do, and they're going to be, oh no, wait a minute, we don't want you to do that. We still love anime. We just want you to make it how we tell you to. And they're going to be like, fuck you. You either take it the way we're making it or you won't get it. And then they're going to back off. They're going to be like, oh, well, if we can't have anime at all, then we're not. Because those fanatics, they're fucking crazy about that shit. Like, I like anime, but there are people who I won't talk to about anime because I'll have to kill them afterwards.
I don't know that the anime companies are going to pull an EA necessarily. I think they would, like I said, I think they would try to avoid the conflict. If the DOA thing was of any indication, they would try to avoid causing any more controversy or conflict, not by stopping making the product, but just limiting the exposure to those markets where it's going to cause a problem. And so I think that would be the first response they'd have to it.
Yeah, and to respond to people in the chat, there are plenty of anime with black characters in it. They're just complaining that there's not enough. There needs to be more representation of people of color in anime for some reason. Even though most of them take place in Japan, or like solely in places in Japan where the population is damn near 100% Japanese or Asian people, they still want there to be representation. I'm like, according to them, where they live and the settings in which they put their stories, they are representative. So shut the fuck up.
I just think it would be great if what they did is instead of giving into them, which we're pretty much in agreement that they're not going to do, or shutting everybody off, they decided to make a social justice anime.
Well, they're
all of the women have huge titties, and they really like to be abused during sex, and I would just go balls out to make it as offensive as possible to these people.
I think they ended up doing the next best thing, which was creating a branch for them to create their own shit, which I don't have a problem with. Like, I don't think that's a problem. The fact that they created a division for people who want to see that type of shit to create it themselves, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's not going to survive because people aren't going to put forth the money, time, or effort to contribute to it. They just want to know that it exists, but they're going to let it die. So it doesn't matter to me because it won't be relevant soon. This is going to go away, and probably this time next year, you won't even hear about it no more.
Cryptic says, yo, Satsu, don't pigeonhole me. Thank you for the donation. Grisella has made
I just saw it.
Cover art for Bear.
And it's fucking legit.
That is fucking awesome, Chris.
Yeah.
Dude, your art is amazing. I want one of me and Bear fighting.
Oh no, the next one on the docket last I heard was the Monkey Moto, where Monkey's a hunchback.
Oh yeah.
We made a joke a couple nights back, and Grisella on Twitter was like, "As soon as I get Bears done, I know what I'm doing next." Like, oh boy.
That Grizz, man, that is some. I love your fucking art, man, and that is I like that picture of Bear. That is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Bear, why haven't you liked this yet?
For those of you who haven't seen it, go check out go check out Twitter. With that, guys, it is YouTube time, or not YouTube, motherfucker.
Try again. Take two.
What happens when I get all riled up during the stream? It is your time. But before we get there, I do want to remind you, if you have the game 7 Days to Die, you can come join me and Satsu on our server, where we will be playing here in about 45 minutes just after this stream ends. Takes us a little bit of time to get set up, but you can jump into the Discords. Stargazer Nuts has put the information in the chat there, so you can just click on that, go to the Discords, and follow along. It is a first come, first serve basis. There's only 15 slots in the server, so get there quick. And with that, it is your time. Questions, comments, concerns, anything that you'd like to hear more about that we talked about already, or it can be entirely unrelated to anything else we said tonight. This is your time, so throw it out there, and we'll do our best to answer. Scribe Light, how many leaps did Sam have to do to get home?
We never got home.
Ding, ding, we have a
Yeah.
winner.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless they go with my idea. Unless they go with my idea if they're going to reboot it. But that's different.
Gregory Hurst says, did you guys see the debate Dankula had today on free speech? The hilarious debate that he had on free speech. I didn't. I'll have to go back and watch. Either of you guys see it?
Nope.
What would happen if Elizabeth Warren was deported? She'd end up on a reservation?
I don't think that's how that works.
Was that wrong?
I don't think you deport somebody back to their reservation if they're a Native American. No, I don't think that's how it works. I'm happy to be corrected, but
Ebony wants to know, Scrap Light, what's the best way to pay off student loans? With money.
Well, with money, yes, but the best way to pay them off is to preferably not have them in the first place. But I know that's not necessarily an option for a lot of people. So
just as much as you can, as often as you can. Same with any loan.
Yeah.
Jean-Pierre asked, Satsu 2 cents, wasn't Boondocks a black anime?
I mean, it was drawn in an anime style, but there's kind of a debate in the anime community right now going on whether or not something has to be made overseas in order for it to be classified as an anime. Because
kind of like how you can't call it champagne unless the grapes are actually grown in the Champagne Valley.
Yeah, so I'm not a part of that debate. Like I don't care about that conversation, but I've watched a couple videos on people go back and forth on it. And for the most part, generally speaking, most people are like, if it looks like an anime, it's an anime. But the diehard fucking people, and these are the people I told you I won't associate with when it comes to anime, who like foam at the mouth about this shit. They're like, no, that's not true. It's not anime unless a fucking Chinaman wrote it. I'm just like, okay, calm down, relax. It's okay. It's cool.
Thank you, Duck Dog. She's only a Cherokee by being from Oklahoma. Where was I? There's so many questions coming through.
Somebody asked me if I would I watch a social justice anime just for shits and giggles. If it's funny, I watch anything if it's entertaining.
Well, you said you should watch one and just review it, regardless of whether it's good or not.
Are there any? I don't know if there are any.
There was that. I forget what it's called, but I don't know if you. Again, I don't know if you classify it as anime, but there was a cartoon where the big ticket item they had on their advertising for it was the very first transgender voice actress or something like that. I forget what that was called.
Yeah, but what's the context of the show about
transgender voice actress?
Yeah, I don't remember. Mr. Mediker did a video on this a while back. It's got. I can remember the thumbnail. I don't remember the name, but this was like last year or the year before or something. And that was the big sort of like they had the little promo video, and they're like, and for the first time in any animated series, the first transgender voice actress. And I'm like, okay.
It's just like a person you'll probably never see unless you go online and research it. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Do you know how many male characters are played by females, female voice actresses?
Art Simpson.
Dude, most of the males in anime are played by women.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, Joy of Sorrows asks, Scribe Light, have you seen the latest issue of the Marvel Darth Vader comic? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I have not. I have the first two paperbacks collections of the initial series, and I was blown away. I was like, why can't they hire these fucking writers to do the movie scripts? Because I tell you what, those the artwork. I mean, it is not easy to draw Darth Vader. I've read some things from some comic book artists in the past about trying to draw Darth Vader. The art in those comic books, the writing, actually making the sort of tragedy of Darth Vader work after the ridiculousness of Episode 3, and the evil C-3PO and R2-D2 analogs. Everything about those initial series was great. So I can only hope, fingers crossed, they've kept that up. But I haven't seen the latest stuff, but the original stuff was really good.
Are you interested in Cyberpunk 2077? I'm assuming this is to all of us.
Well, I used to play that a bit in college. I've had a thing about cyberpunk as a genre for many, many, many years. I've been a big fan of William Gibson's stuff, and just the sort of the aesthetic and the setting of that kind of world in the first place. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, because I'm always cagey about video game adaptations of things that I like. Now, the only reason that I have hope is that because Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was so fucking good. And even though I haven't played much Witcher, CD Projekt Red really takes their games seriously to make them like single player masterpieces. So if past is prologue, it should be good, as long as CD Projekt Red does not give in to the pressure of morons like we've seen in the last few days and make changes to their games on the basis of 5 people complaining. That's my only concern at this point after the little fiasco the last couple days.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Satsu, did you hear that Bravest Warriors has a contract with Cartoon Network? I don't know how that's going to work, but more Catbug is good.
Bravest Warriors, I actually enjoy. That show is hilarious to me. And Catbug is fucking king. No, I did not hear that they got a contract with Cartoon Network, but that's good, because that just means it's going to be around longer.
With Asia Argento getting called out, do you think the FBI should investigate her and Rose McGowan for what?
Yeah, for what? I mean, Rose McGowan didn't she already have like a legal situation recently?
I'm not sure.
Unless you've got something specific you're talking about. I mean, Asia Argento's already being looked into by people, because this wasn't a very, unlike most of the other situations we've talked about with the celebrities and all of the abuse, this didn't happen that long ago, and there's photographic evidence that's already been released that something might have been up. So aside from that, I'm not quite sure what Rose McGowan would be up for.
Guys, I'm scrolled way back up trying to get all of the questions. So if you're talking to me live now, I'm not seeing that. So I apologize. I will get to it eventually. What was better, Quantum Leap or Sliders? Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap by a country mile. The first like season of Sliders showed some promise. It just stayed away enough from the concept of Quantum Leap, which is sort of like alternate realities and things, that it was unique. And I liked John Rhys Davies on there, and Jerry O'Connell was kind of cool. But in the later seasons, no, they went completely off the ranch and went kooky, and it was stupid.
Satsu, have you seen the anime Ajin, pronounced Ajin, monkey?
Yeah, it's called Ajin, and it is actually...
That's Ajin. I don't care what you say.
It's on Netflix. Well, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's a cell shade anime or whatever, kind of like the CGI cell shade or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit is excellent. It's about a group of people who can't die, like they're invincible. And like the government has been conducting experiments on them. Like they kidnap them and they do all these horrible things to them and kill them over and over because they keep coming back. And they have these shadowy spirits or whatever that follows them around. And some of them can actually use them to kill people and stuff. So there's these soldiers that they can be temporarily disabled. Like if you cut their heads off or whatever, then you can keep them disabled, but you have to separate their head from their bodies or whatever. But for the most part, they're invincible. Like they come back anytime they get taken down, they just get right back up. And it's really good. They're supposed to be making a live action movie for it, but the show is good enough. So if you guys are interested in something like that, check it out.
There was a follow-up to that said, since you can't pronounce shit, they gave me the pronunciation. Yeah, everybody knows I can't pronounce shit, but I'm okay with it.
I can pronounce shit.
I still say that's Ajin. Ajin.
Jack
Ajin.
says Satsu like CGI anime. You have terrible taste, Satsu. I like all kinds of shows. I don't just like music. I don't restrict myself from something that could be awesome because on the surface it's something that I'm not supposed to like. That prevents you from seeing a lot of interesting things or experiencing things that you probably would like, but you just don't because you've already created preconceived notions about it. But that's just me.
Just a reminder, guys, if you ask a question, make sure to put at least one question mark after it. 2 or 3 is better. It just helps us separate the questions from the other conversation going on. But Tyler asks, what do you think about Terminator 6? I think they should have left it at 2, probably.
Yeah, I
Definitely
think
at 3.
definitely at 3. I can see the allure of trying to, because I mean, the IP is still compelling, but only up through like the first 2 movies. I didn't like Terminator 3. I thought it was satirizing itself, which is the worst thing you can do if you're trying to like maintain an IP, because it was like half it was a joke. I did like the ending and that it was kind of a twist after a fashion. But then when they did the Christian Bale Terminator, that stunk. When they did Genesis, that stunk. And now they're doing this again. And it's like, okay, so we're going to ignore the previous. It's kind of like, I mean, that seems to be the trend now. Like the new Halloween movie ignores all the movies except the first 2.
Yeah.
And now this new Terminator movie ignores all the movies except the first 2. So,
Well,
I can understand why James Cameron and some of the really big fans of some of these IPs that felt like the series took a weird direction with bad production or bad directors or bad executives over the decades or whatever, are trying to sort of have a redo. I get it, but I don't know, man. The Halloween sequel and the Terminator sequel, if those don't work, I think the whole concept of trying to do these let's have a do-over kind of movies is going to die, or not be a good investment going forward.
with the Halloween one, it makes no sense, but at least with the Terminator, you can write it into the lore. I mean, you're gonna
travel stuff. Yeah, I know.
you're gonna change time no matter when you go back. So at least there's that.
Yeah.
But with Halloween, it makes no goddamn sense because you don't have that line to do it with.
I'm fine ignoring all the other Halloween movies. You know,
No,
if that's the way.
H2O was great.
Oh God. Well, I mean, where it died for me was when they started giving him a supernatural explanation. Where like there's the cult of thorns or whatever the fuck it was. I was just like, no. Your monsters have to be forces of nature without clear origins or explanations. That's it. You don't give them any sort of backstory. They're just the villain. Unless you give them a personality, like Freddy Krueger. Yeah, you give him a backstory and everything else. But like Leatherface and Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, these silent, hulking, just Frankenstein guys, don't explain them. They're just there. Maybe there's something that happened with, you have a little bit of a backstory for like Michael Myers and stuff. But other than that, why they're able to do what they do or what their motivations are, leave them alien. That's all.
Random American says, why can't you answer these questions faster?
We only operate at human thinking speed.
Do you want to hear something cute, Monkey? Sure.
Yes.
But by the time I get to where you say it, it's going to be a while. So just keep that in mind.
If it's not Grand Monkey, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Hi, Weibo. Weibo's back. She was here earlier. She came back. Weibo, did you get your pizza cooked? Did you guys see that on Twitter? Their oven died, so she actually had to grill a pizza tonight.
Grill a pizza.
Yeah, there's actually pizzas that tell you, try this on the grill.
Oh, I was not aware.
I wouldn't cook a pizza over an open flame.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to start calling Weibo Hobo Jones now.
You're not supposed to like put it over the open flame. There's these little pans you can put in there for pizzas.
Yeah, I cook mine in the oven because I'm civilized.
Squishy cooks them in the microwave because she's a redneck.
Oh, I'll cook the little ones in the microwave. They're doughy as shit when they come out, but sometimes I'm hungry now.
I don't want pizza that I can blow a bubble with.
Luffy the vampire lesbian now with Willow. You know what? If there was a movie of Sarah Michelle Gellar and what the hell's her name? The chick who played Willow, Allison Hannigan, having lesbian sex, I would watch it every day. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Twice.
Every day.
I would brush my teeth in the morning and watch it, and then I would watch it and then brush my teeth at night. That's
Oh
how
my God.
that's how much I would like that. Because I'm telling you, if you guys haven't watched the whole thing of Buffy, Vampire Willow is fucking hot.
Well, she's also a redhead, so I'm already in.
Jean-Pierre, we mentioned that question already. How about Little Busters, Satsu?
For some reason, the name of that is not ringing a bell. I know I've heard it before, but I'm not getting the picture. Let me look it up.
Sorry guys, the chat has jumped, so I'm trying to go back to where I was, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna miss it. Mr. Gillystar, thank you so much. Look, it's virtual money. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I've never seen Little Busters.
Apparently she burned her pizza.
Good job.
Hobo Jones.
Next time, try it with a lighter. Okay, man, you guys have been busy here.
With a lighter.
Irate Bear, yeah, for those of you who play 7 Days to Die with us, the server does not go live until we go live.
That's right.
Because time will pass anytime people are in the server. So to keep everything from, you don't want somebody who's only been there one day to jump into night 21, because one guy's been playing it. Let's see. You spelled Pocahontas wrong.
Oh my God. I just realized that Grisella should have put the ghost crapping himself.
Oh, for ghost poo.
Yeah. That'd have completed it. You fucked up, Grizz. You're a failure. No, I'm just kidding.
RJ says, I was talking about Asia being exposed for having sex with a minor and then lying about it and having pictures of it. Now, pictures that we saw, there's nothing pornographic about them.
Yeah, there's nothing overtly showing explicit anything, but it is very suggestive. Let's put it that way.
It's just them laying in bed. So that is a state matter. It's not an FBI matter yet.
Yeah.
Have you seen Young Frankenstein? Yes, and I know this is going to offend a lot of people. I don't like Young Frankenstein. I don't think it's that funny.
Yeah, I never really. I mean, I appreciate the film as a film. I never really found it to be as hilarious as people say. Oh, it's one of the classic comedies. It's like, well, I mean, it's got very dry humor. Maybe it plays different in an audience rather than watching it at home, kind of thing. But or maybe it's just that my sense of humor is more updated than the stuff that was going on back then. But yeah, it never really did much for me.
Guys, I will be right back.
Lenugs, when you're singing that song, you forgot the word hoppy, and they've got them hoppy little feet and twitchy little noses. Those hoppy feet and twitchy little noses. If you guys haven't seen Once More with Feeling, the episode, the musical episode of Buffy, it is fucking amazing. What they did in such a short time to get that put together, and most of the songs work. It's a great episode. Have you seen the new Matt? I can never pronounce his name right. Series on Netflix, Disenchantment. I saw that it's on there. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, Matt Groening.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've seen it there. Haven't watched it. I like Futurama. All right. I like binged it one time, and that was a mistake. But because like everything kind of goes by so quick, I don't even really register it.
Oh, Bro13 asks, what are your thoughts on the latest Venom movie casting news? Not the actor, but that they're still casting this close to release.
Yeah,
wow.
I posted that today because that came out in, I think, the Hollywood Reporter or whatever, and they were like, "Yeah, they just cast this guy from Luke Cage and This Is Us and all this." I'm like, they just cast in Venom. I was like, wait, doesn't that come out soon? And I looked up October 5th. I'm like, they must be doing some crazy last-minute reshoots or some really strange last-minute restructuring of things, because I don't know how common it is to hire actors into a movie that began production a year ago and is less than 2 months away from release. I don't know how common that is. I know people have been cut out of movies late in the game because of time or some other things, but hiring new actors and presumably filming new scenes and sequences with them, that seems a bit odd to me. But then Sony doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So,
Sup, hoes? What we talking about?
Thank you, ex Bubba Hotep. They got the mustard out. I'm not singing it. They got the mustard out. That's a song from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Once More Feeling.
I'll take your word for it.
It's this neat little part where they've realized everybody's singing for no damn reason, and there's two of them walking down the street talking about it, and there's singing and dancing going on in the background, and there's this guy who comes out of the what's it called? Where they clean your clothes, dry cleaner, and yeah, he sings. They got the mustard out. I can't do it justice, or I would try. Oh God, wow, you guys have been busy. Nothing for you here, says Ranting Monkey. I'm an ordained minister now. Cool. You should marry Satsu to Scribe.
Tuh.
For real? Is that your reaction, Scribe?
So you want to make Satsu a Mormon?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Just making sure I understood.
Blazing Saddles is better. Absolutely. I'm assuming we're talking about Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blazing Saddles is better. Spaceballs is better. Men in Tights is better. Young Frankenstein's not a horrible movie. It's just not by far his funniest or my favorite. Monkey, did you know the person who played Gimli in Lord of the Rings had a fake finger because of Vietnam? During filming, he pretended to cut off his finger, freaking out Peter Jackson. I did not know that.
Oh, John Rhys Davies? Really?
That's funny.
I did not know that.
Renting Monkey, what's your opinion of talk shows on the radio? I actually prefer, if I'm driving somewhere, to get to listen to an interesting talk show.
Oh, we're a talk show on the kind of.
But we're on the kind of.
Well, I mean, but modern radio. I mean, we're no different effectively than Sirius XM or whatever.
Grisella says, so is Hush, talking about the Buffy episode. See, we're just so far behind because you guys have been so excellently active tonight. The episode of Buffy called Hush is amazing, and it also has probably the scariest monster in the whole series. Monsters, actually. Oh God, everything jumped again. All right, guys, if you had a question, I've missed it. Please put it back in because you guys have been so active. I'm having trouble staying where the questions were. Ranting Monkey, how's your health been? This is life now, so I've had a couple of rough days, but I'll have a few good ones soon, I'm sure. That would make Satsu a bigamist and a criminal. Probably right. But he'd be a gay criminal, so no harm, no foul. Lords of the Night on Radio Disney. That would be great. Jack Gunsky, Buffy is so overrated and was directed by a hack. Buffy was awesome, especially the first three seasons. The first three seasons were amazing. I don't care if you like Whedon or not. He did excellent work on that show. Angel wasn't as good. Season 5 was probably its best, but watch Little Busters, Satsu. It's about a group of kids that put together a baseball team, but everything that happens is actually a psychic force to make the main character strong enough mentally.
Oh.
Buffy got me through puberty, says Lenugs. I was a bit older than that by the time Buffy came out. Puberty was so long ago.
A long, long time ago.
Oh, somebody asked me if I seen Senyu. You know what? That anime was on my list for a while, but I completely forgot it existed because it looked like it was supposed to be a comedy. And at the time, I was just like not looking for comedies, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this at some point, and I did not. But it looks interesting. I don't know what it's about though.
Joy says Angel was just riding on Buffy's success. They needed to get Angel off the show to keep Buffy interesting, and Angel was an excellent character, so there's no reason not to. The way they tried to do it was stupid. There's more monkey. LOL. Literally the next line. Oh. Get him tough mentally to be able to lose all his friends to a tragedy that had actually already happened. Some good paranormal features. There you go. Doesn't that give away the ending, though?
Womp womp.
You just told him why he did it. Is Ryan Johnson getting fired, Scribe Light?
There are rumors that his independent new trilogy of movies is being shelved because of how poorly The Last Jedi has done in the fan realm of things. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but there are, sources say kind of situation going on. So until we hear something official, I'll just take it as rumor. But given his rhetoric about the franchise and the fans and just his overall performance with making that movie, which is entirely Kathleen Kennedy's fault for giving him so much leeway in making it and approving everything, I would not be surprised if they decided to pull back on their commitment to him being a part of the grand scheme.
Satsu, is there a... Where'd it go? Oh, there's any anime series on YouTube that you would recommend?
On YouTube?
That's what it says.
I don't know. I mean, I don't watch anime on YouTube. I mean, shit, I don't know.
Jeremy, I'm Angel the Cop Hooker. Oh my God. Somebody who's actually seen those movies? No. And she wasn't a cop hooker to begin with. She was just a hooker. There's a movies in the 80s called Angel about a underage prostitute.
Well, I just used a picture from the poster of that movie in one of my latest videos when she was talking about. She was talking about the TEDx lady was talking about how rich equaled virgin and poor equaled promiscuous, and so I used that as a visual because I remember seeing that box art. I never actually saw the movie, but I remember that box art. And I remember thinking that was kind of when I was a little kid. I thought that was kind of dirty.
Well, it was a dirty movie. It was an 80s movie, so you got lots of titty in it. It was a gritty movie.
Oh yeah, was it?
Well, the whole plot is there's a bunch of hookers being killed.
Oh, okay.
She's a teenage hooker, actually in school still.
Right.
And she ends up with a detective who's
trying to solve the murders.
And then there's an Angel 2 where they're like a couple now.
Yeah, there was a sequel, which is really weird.
Let's see, guys. Does this mean Star Wars is dead? # sad day. No, Star Wars needs to die. This is something that it's the even if Star Wars had been great every time, too much of a good thing. They've saturated it, and between all of the different cartoons, how many are there? Like 3 long running cartoons, or is it just the 2?
Now it's 3, I guess, technically. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got God.
Well, a movie every year. Red Letter Media had the best analogy for this. It's like a trailer park family wins megabucks.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
They have no internal barometer for how to be sensible about these things because it's like this giant windfall. And so Disney got the megabucks. And they're like, oh boy, they're rubbing their hands together. We're going to do so much with this. We're going to make this such a big thing. And yeah, I mean, the beauty about the Star Wars franchise is that they were special once every 3 years and all the time in between for fans to sort of like fill in the gaps with the unsaid things and make up their own stories about some of the characters and that kind of stuff. They were rare little gems. Even when they were bad, you had to wait and they were few and far between. Every year, plus cartoons, plus comic books, and plus like giving origin stories to characters that shouldn't have them.
Mm-hmm.
They're ruining it. They're ruining it by saturating the market and handing these things off to people who are incompetent. I mean, you hand this stuff off to people who know their craft, who have some experience, not somebody who made like one cool movie on the indie circuit and now they get Star Wars just so you can save yourself some bucks and have more control over them as an executive. Come on. Anyway.
And with that, guys, we're going to end this one. Stargazer Nuts, just again, put the stuff in Discord if you'd like to come either watch us play 7 Days to Die, which you should because we're funny as hell, or join us if you have the game and would like to. First come, first serve, guys. When I put the information in, whoever gets in first gets in. But we're going to wrap the show up. So Chat, thank you for the super chats. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. And thank you guys for just being here and showing up night after night. You guys are fucking amazing. Best audience on the planet, and I will fight anyone who says differently. Scribe, Satsu, a pleasure as always. Everyone, your life makes us sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.